We know very well, we already studied the atomic structure which is given by Thomson, Rutherford, but we have seen that in both theory, in both atomic structure, there is some drawback. Because of that, that particular model given by Thomson, also by Rutherford, is going to be discarded. Later on, scientist Niels Bohr worked on this problem to obtain the atomic structure. Particularly, he considered the structure of hydrogen atom, and he put forth his three postulates. Using these three postulates, he tried to put forth his atomic structure of hydrogen atom. So, what is first postulate? He tells that at the center of the atom there is a core which is called as a nucleus, and whole mass which is in the form of photon is to be concentrated within this nucleus. Surrounding to that nucleus there is a different orbit, and within that different orbit the number of electrons are to be revolving around the nucleus. The first postulate tells us that electron is revolved around the nucleus. It requires the centripetal force, and that centripetal force is to be given by the electrostatic force developed in between this nucleus and this electron. Because nucleus contains the proton having the positive charge, and electron having the negative charge. So there is a force of attraction in between, electrostatic force of attraction between electron and proton, that is the electron and nucleus, and due to which the centripetal force is getting to that electron and they are to be revolved around the nucleus. So what is the electrostatic force? That is nothing but Fe is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Z square upon R square. So this is electrostatic force. Then what is centripetal force? Centripetal force Fc is equal to mv square upon r. So when these two forces are going to be balanced at that time, at a particular distance from the nucleus in particular orbit, that electron is revolved continuously. So we have to say that the electrostatic force and centripetal force are equal. So 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Z square upon R square is equal to mv square upon r. So this is our Bohr's first postulate. What is Bohr's second postulate? Bohr's second postulate tells us that the electrons are revolving in those orbits without radiating energy whose angular momentum is an integral multiple of h upon twice pi. So what it tells, that electrons are revolving in those stationary orbit without radiating energy only in those orbit which satisfy the equation that the angular momentum is equal to n into h upon twice pi. That is nothing but an integral multiple of h upon twice pi. Those orbits satisfy this condition, in that one that electrons are revolved. So what is momentum? Momentum is nothing but m into v. So what is angular momentum? Angular momentum is nothing but moment of momentum, that is mvr. So according to Bohr's second postulate, mvr, that is angular momentum, is equal to an integral multiple of h upon twice pi, where n is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. So now we are proceeding towards our next postulate, which is put forth by scientist Bohr, that is the postulate third. What this third postulate tells? It tells that when electron is jumped from higher energy level to the lower energy level, at that time it radiates the energy in the form of radiations whose frequency is mu, and it tells that energy difference in between that two energy level is equal to h into mu, where h is Planck constant and mu is frequency. After discussing both three postulates, we are now interested to find out the value of radius of hydrogen atom and energy of hydrogen atom. So for the purpose of that, we have to use first our first postulate. What is that first postulate? mv square upon r is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught e square upon r square. That is centripetal force is equal to electrostatic force. So Z means here atomic number. In this case, Z is equal to 1 for hydrogen atom. So we have to write this equation mv square upon r is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught e square upon r square. Multiplying both sides by m, we have to get m square v square is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, r get cancelled, only r is remain, m square upon r. From second postulate, we know very well the mvr is equal to nh upon twice pi. That is, the electron are revolving in those orbit which satisfy the condition that the angular momentum is equal to an integral multiple of h upon twice pi. So we have to get mvr is equal to n into h upon twice pi. Squaring both sides, we have to get m square v square r square is equal to n square h square upon 4 pi square. Call this equation number 3. So m square v square is equal to, we have transferred this side, n square into h square upon 4 pi square into r square. Putting this in equation number 1, we have to get n square h square, instead of this n square h square upon 4 pi r square is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught m square upon r. So cancelling those terms which are to be cancelled here, remaining part is r is equal to epsilon naught n square h square upon pi m square. Cause this equation number 4. This is the radius of hydrogen atom. Now from equation number 3, we have to get mv is equal to n into h upon twice pi r. So mv is nothing but momentum. So n into h upon twice pi r, putting this value of r, pi m square upon epsilon naught n square h square. So we have to find out the value of velocity. For that purpose, we have to transfer this to the denominator of this right hand side. So we have to get v is equal to e square upon twice epsilon naught n h. This is the velocity of that particle which are to be rotated in nth orbit. So we have to say value of n is nothing but the integers. Now we are interested to find out the value of radius of orbit in radius of nth orbit, say. So for that purpose, we have to consider, write this equation of radius right like this: Rn is equal to epsilon naught n square h square upon pi m square. We know very well here epsilon naught is constant, h Planck constant is constant, pi is constant, mass of electron is constant, electron charge is constant, variable quantity is only n square. So Rn is directly proportional to n square. Now we are interested to find out the equation of energy of hydrogen atom. When we have to consider the total energy of hydrogen atom, we have to consider kinetic energy and again potential energy. Summation of both of them, kinetic energy plus potential energy, is nothing but the total energy. How the kinetic energy is to be obtained? We know very well kinetic energy is equal to 1/2 mv square. For nth orbit, we have to say vn square. So kinetic energy is equal to 1/2 mvn square. We have to put the value of v, that is velocity, which is to be earlier we have to derive that value. We have to put here, we have to get kinetic energy is equal to m raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon square n square h square. Call this equation number 6. Now we have to find the potential energy. What is potential energy? Work is done to the particle when it is to be going away from nucleus to the that orbit. How much work is to be done? That is nothing but your potential energy. So potential energy is equal to integration of f dr. So when it is varying from infinity to that orbit, that is say infinity to 0, we have to put the limit 0 to infinity. So f into dr, force into displacement, that is nothing but the total work done. So integration of 0 to infinity f dr, we have to put the value of f, that is force, that is nothing but electrostatic force, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught E square upon R square into dr. Solving this, we have to get potential energy is equal to minus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught E square upon R. Using the value of radius in this equation, that is from equation 4, we have to get potential energy is equal to minus me raised to 4 upon 4 epsilon square n square h square. So now we are proceeding to find out the total energy of that hydrogen atom, that is nothing but summation of kinetic energy plus potential energy. We have to put the value of kinetic energy, potential energy. We have to take the LCM. LCM is here 8 epsilon square n square h square. To this side we have to multiply by 2. We have to get m raised to 4 minus twice m raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon n square h square. We have to get minus m raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon n square h square is nothing but n. Negative sign indicate that electron is bound to the orbit. For ground state, we have to say n is equal to 1. Putting that value, we have to get R1 is equal to epsilon naught h square upon pi m square. That if you have to put the value of this all constant, we have to get that value R1 is equal to 0.528 degree angstrom. If you have to getting that equation, Rn is equal to n square into R1, that is radius of nth orbit is directly proportional to the square of integer. Then energy of first orbit is given by the relation. If you put the value n is equal to 1 here, then we have to get minus m raised to 4 upon 8 epsilon square h square. If you have to put the value of constant, we have to get the equation minus 13.6 electron volt. Then for nth orbit energy, En is equal to in the form of ground state energy is nothing but En is equal to E1 upon n square. Call this nothing but the equations which shows the relation between energy of nth orbit and first orbit. So En is equal to E1 upon n square. E1 is constant, so we have to say En is inversely proportional to the square of integers.